The AZDOME M550 4K capable dash cam. Gotta be honest, I've been looking for a dash cam. I haven't really pulled the trigger on any of them, so when AZDOME or AZDOME, however you want to actually pronounce it, offered to send this to me, I'm like, sure, why not? I'll give it a try. What's up YouTube, Jason here with Byte My Bits. I don't really talk that much about dash cams. I think I've only did one in the past before, but I have been looking at some dash cams based off some recent events where I literally almost got into an accident, and yes, there's now a cat. Seriously, it's like every time I start recording, you gotta be right there. Boop. So after some near misses and accidents, I was like, you know, it would be really nice to just have something on my side to say, hey, not my fault. This is what happened. Here's the video evidence to prove it. So AZDOME did send this over for a free review. No, that has absolutely no impact on what I feel or think or want to say about it. But I just have to disclose that, yes, it was for free. So the AZDOME M550 is a 3-channel 4K capable dash cam. And when I say capable, that means it kind of depends on what you want to run. As you can see, this has a camera that goes into the cabin of your vehicle, and then it has the camera that points out. It also has an attachable camera that goes to the rear of your car, not shown here because it's in my car. Thankfully, this is removable. So if you're parking in a sketch area and you just don't want people to see it and just go in there and steal it out of your car, that's completely fine. You can just take it right out of your windshield. So that's what I did for the purposes. But this is also detachable. So if you don't want you picking your nose on camera, that's great. You just take this out. You can just run this, maybe the rear view camera, good to go. Now, if you're running just the front and the rear camera, you can run 4K in the front and you can run 1080p in the back. Running all 3 cameras, the one pointing forward, the one pointing in your cabin, and the one behind your car, then you're going to be looking at a 2K, a 1080, and a 1080. So it does kind of have a limited ability to record depending on what amount of cameras you want to run, which is okay because in my experience, running all 3 cameras, it is good enough in order to not only see what's going on, but also to capture the license plates of the cars in front of you. The night vision itself is pretty decent. It does need some light, of course, in order to light up, so there's no infrared blasting through your front windshield, but it does have an infrared light for the interior camera, so anything inside your cabin would be lit up with an infrared light. And when it comes to installation, well, AZDOME gives you plenty of options to do this. However, the one thing that I didn't like was the rear view camera. Basically, the mounting plate that came with the rear view camera, the instructions was like, hey, take a drill and drill into your car. And I have commitment issues, I feel like, because I didn't feel like drilling into the back of my car in order to install a rear camera. Instead, I cut a little wedge of a piece of wood, I painted it black with Sharpie, and I stuck it to my back windshield. To me, that's literally all I want. Like if a car's coming up to me, something, whatever, I want to be able to get that view of what actually happened behind me. And I have absolutely zero reason to want to drill a hole in the back of my car to install a dash cam, especially because electronics go out and you have no idea what the next dash cam is going to require, but that hole is permanent. Now, there are a couple things that I like about this. One, it does have a nice, pretty decent little screen in the front that will show you all 3 cameras at the same time. They kind of overlap on each other, but it is still possible to see them all 3 at the same time. 2, you have an app. You can download this on your phone, this broadcasted Wi-Fi signal, and you can use that app to view, like replay any of the events that's stored on the SD card on this device, and you even have the ability to download it to your phone if it's something that you want to just pull up on the spot and maybe show to evidence to the cop or whatever. This thing has GPS. It can tell you how fast you're going. All these things are great because it can display it right there on the video. And if for whatever reason you get into any kind of legal trouble and you know you are in the right, this could definitely save you. Now, right out of the box, they do ship this thing with a 64 gig micro SD card. However, it can handle up to 128 gigabytes. It has a few different options for recording, like loop recording in 3 minutes, 5 minutes, etc. But it does also have the ability to store, like, you know, hard impacts that you can set your sensitivity to that will record to a different folder and be protected and not overwritten like the normal files. If you have power to the device while your car is powered off, it could also sense any of those impacts and start recording to let you know what happened while you were away from your vehicle. And you will need power. So this does not have any kind of a battery in it. It has capacitors. So if you have, like, let's say a webcam sitting in your windshield or on your windshield, constantly being berated by the sun, that is just a possibility of failure. Catastrophically, you could just ruin a lithium battery, just have it baking in the sun like that. Instead, this thing has capacitors, which gives it enough power to boot down, power down when you turn your car off and it loses power, and save the video files that it was recording. But with those capacitors, it's just gonna be able to power itself, like, safely in order to save those files. It's not gonna be able to record while you park because it's not an actual full-blown battery. When it comes to installation, well, it really depends on how good you want to be with it. Because I am experimenting, I essentially did the bare minimum. I kind of wired the wires out of the way, like they're not terrible, but they're also not great. I more or less just wanted to see how this thing ran because I really wanted to see how it performed and whether or not I wanted to stick with this brand, or maybe if I wanted to reach out to another company and try their brand. The one thing that I noticed with this, and because of my inexperience with other dash cam options, is that while you're driving, it does seem to not really have much image stabilization whatsoever. In my opinion, and I know cars move around a lot, it would be nice to have some sort of an image stabilization to help it look just a little bit smoother. But when I was driving, it just didn't really seem to have much, if any, image stabilization at all. No, let's have a fight, please. Continue. I was able to get the rear view camera installed in a good location, kind of ran through my car, and I do like having that installed. I ran this just for testing, but ultimately, I don't really like do Uber, driving or anything like that. I have no one else in my car except for me and my dog. So I have no reason to record myself, and I think I'd rather have the higher resolution pointing outside of my car, just in case I need to catch, like let's say a license plate or something that's a little bit further away. I would rather have the extra pixels in front of my car rather than just recording everything I do inside the cabin, because usually I'm just kind of boring and driving. And for me, the idea of a dash cam like this is to protect yourself in the event of an accident. That way you can prove whether or not you did something right. Or if you did something wrong, throw this out the window and pretend it never existed and then say you did something right anyways. Just kidding. One thing I will recommend though is that this has a lot of buttons and options and menus that you can go through and kind of configure, which is cool. It does make an annoying beep sound that I would definitely recommend going in and disabling. You have all kinds of options for setting up what is displayed on your video. I've chosen to not only display the speed that I'm currently traveling, but also the coordinates of where I am. Again, if this is all coming back to like a court thing, I want all the information available. Screw you. But at the end of the day, I like it. Every time I get into my car, it automatically powers on. Shut off my car, it turns off. It's reliable. Haven't had any issues with any of the files that I've been able to pull. They're relatively small. I haven't even filled up a 64 gig micro SD card yet, and I've been running it for a few weeks. So overall, I have nothing terrible to say about this. My only wish is a better image stabilization, but that's really not that big of a deal. So I think for now, because this was sent to me as a review unit, I'm probably just going to continue to run it because I don't see the need or anything about this that makes me want to go out and venture and purchase another item. Just because this does have all the features that I was looking for. I do recommend though, if you have people in your car normally, whether that's, just doing Uber or a taxi or whatever, just making sure you get this installed in the right location. That way it's not pointing directly at the back of your backup mirror because, that'll kind of get in the way and get rid of the IR cameras and kind of make things look kind of fuzzy. But ultimately, in my opinion, this is a pretty good and pretty capable dash cam. You do have up to 3 cameras. You just have to pick and choose what kind of resolution you want to run on all 3 of those cameras. Well guys, if you want to see exactly how much this costs, which is usually about under $200, check out my Amazon affiliate links in the description down below. As always, thank you for watching, like and subscribe, and have yourself a terrific day. You like that? Yeah, that was a cat thing. Don't hate me for being cheesy. What? You bit me. You bit me. You deserve this. You deserve this. Look at me. I'm a little butt head, short and stout. I hiss and I poop and I don't know the rest.